Hey guys, Raid0AU and welcome back to Empyrion Galactic Survival. This is episode 7 and this episode's going to be all about starting our build on the capital vessel. So what I'm going to do is... I'm going to grab something out of here. No, I think I've got everything I need to actually get us started. So... Now, while watching this, bear in mind that I haven't sat down and planned this out meticulously or anything like that. You'll see that I've got quite a bit of a scaffold over here, which was an idea I had, which may or may not work. But like I haven't worked out how many blocks I need or anything like that. I've just got a picture in my head as to what I think it should be, or what I'd like it to be in the end. So bear with me as we go through this. I'm imagining that this build will probably take at least 2 episodes. May even encroach on a third, but we'll wait and see. And effectively what I want from my capital vessel is it's going to be a mobile base. That's going to be my home. So that's the end product that I want to end up with. So with that in mind, effectively, the initial part of the build is really going to be like base building to a certain extent. But we'll see how we go. We'll see if it works or not. You never know unless you try it. So first thing we've got to do is we've got to put our capital vessel starter down. Difference with this compared to other starters is you do need a cockpit to be able to build it. So that's the one additional. Might just bring it over slightly this... Oh no, it'll be alright there. And we just pop that down. There we go. The one thing I want to make sure of is that basically I leave this gap open so that I can get up and down. I can fill in any gaps if I need to as I go. Sort of once I'm finished. Because effectively this is going to be the center floor of the build. So now first thing I'm going to want to do is, how many blocks have we got here? Let's see, just grab our whole blocks. So it's, as per a base, it's 3 wide, it's 3 by 3. So we're going to want to extend this out, and we want to have 5 wide inside. Why? Because I just think that's quite a nice number. But also as we get further on down the ship, as we travel down the ship here, it'll become more evident as to why I've done that. Basically thinking of some of the things that I want to put in, like generators and fuel tanks and things like that. So with that in mind, so that's 4, 5. We need to bring that out. So let me think about this. Just put down 1 for the moment. Just let me have a look here. Got to be careful how I place these down, and it's because I've got the scaffold there, that basically if I place it connecting to the scaffold instead of to... Let's have a look here. Yeah, see, that time it connected to the capital vessel. Previous it was connecting to the scaffold, and so it was slightly misaligned. So it gives 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do the same on this side. Just going to put a bit more scaffold there to make sure I don't fall off. Just run that along there. Run that along there, that should be enough. Okay. So that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide. So that's how wide I want the room to be. But now we need to build the walls. So, and as I said, initially this is all going to look like just simply a base. So it's not going to be anything too surprising about this. That's not to say there's not going to be anything too surprising in the end product. You might look at it and go, oh, well, that's pretty rubbish. That's always the danger with these type of builds. Alright, so this one needs to come out one more. And basically this initial part, I'm being very meticulous, as you can see, about it. Because everything else is going to come off this. So I need to make sure that I get this first part right, and I didn't mean to place that block there. Alright. Luckily, when you place something down and then retreat and then remove it, you do get the parts back. So okay, now at the front here. In fact, you know what? I'm going to leave the front just for the moment, because I want to put some walls in just so I get an idea as to how this is going to. And what I'm doing is I'm going to use the internal walls, and then on the outside there will be hull blocks. So effectively it'll be a double thickness wall. Like that. Alright, so this one, 3. Now I'm going to bring this back. As I said, I've got to make sure I keep that block open there, because otherwise I've got no way getting down except jumping off, and no way getting back up. So, okay. And probably do that. And that. Yeah, you know what? That could go there, and that can go there. And that just kind of. Yep. There will be various windows around, but and I'm thinking these might be windows here, but I haven't quite. We'll work on that as we go. In fact, I think I need this to come out one more. And yes, I've covered that block, but I'm going to then break through it. Okay. Now, where do we want to go from here? Like that. Okay. So that's going to be our front room of the ship. Just jump down here. Might need to put a few more of these in just to give us a bit more room to play with. I've placed some lights downstairs, and I'm hoping that that will actually give us enough light up here for you guys to be able to see one at night time. But we'll see how it goes, because it might be quite dark, and if it is, I'll start placing some other lights. Alright, we can probably extend that one out. So effectively, this is how wide the top section of the ship is going to be. or the top floor of the ship. Yeah, probably just put that in there. Okay. Pretty sure I've got some more trusses being built over there. I could retrieve some items if I need to. But okay, so now we can come. This is going to be the next room. In this room we want, so directly behind the cockpit, this is going to be effectively the cockpit, or the control room I should say. It's a little bit more than a cockpit. And I'll sort of put some items in here, just some decorative items and things like that to make it look more like a control room. And then this will be a door going through to the next room, an automatic door. And this one at the back, this one here is going to have a number of items in it. Basically, on this side of the room, it's going to be my sleeping quarters. So, and I'll put some furniture in there to make it sleeping quarters. This side over here is going to be oxygen station and medical station. So I need to bear in mind what I'm placing in each of these rooms as far as how wide do I want them to be. No, don't want that one there. Stop it. Oh, and see what can happen. Oh dear, that's not good. All right, we'll just keep going. Let's put it a bit skew-if on the scaffold. What it's done is I've misplaced that block and it's thrown the whole thing forward. And that's the issue that you have with building large, like these huge ships, if you're trying to get a second floor underneath. So now, do I have access to? Yes, I've still got access to the thing, but that's okay. That's okay. Just got to be more careful. And that was the problem. What I did was I inadvertently clicked on when it was on the scaffold, not on the ship. So bear that in mind if you try and do this, that if you click while you're pointing at the scaffold, it's going to attach it to the scaffold. But you need to make sure you're attaching it to the capital vessel. Alright, so how many spaces is that? And certainly I'm going to want a window in here, so that can come back one. What am I going to want? I'm going to want a bed, a little bit on the side. I'm going to want medical station thing. Alright, so that's good. Put the medical station and the oxygen station, and then we can put two large oxygen cylinders. In fact, we could put 4 oxygen cylinders next to it. So that works. Alright, so I can just imagine some of you sitting there now going, this ain't never going to work. You may be right. We'll have to wait and see. Alright, so that's going to be the wall there. Wall there. So as you can see, it's only 4 wide, this room. 4 deep. Go there, they can go there, they can go there. Once again, there's going to be another door. Another automatic door there. And I'm still going to have a window here, even though I'm going to have the stations in front of it, just for the sake of symmetry. Okay, so got our control room here. Just going to lead into living quarters and effectively oxygen supplies and medical facilities. Now this is where it gets interesting again, because I've got to keep this block free, but now everything's skew-if. So now this next room is going to be generators and fuel tanks, or at least one lot of fuel tanks. I'm envisaging there's probably going to be 4 fuel tanks in this room. So just thinking how I want to set this one out. So this one's going to have to be one. It's got to be at least 3 deep. Reason being that the large generator is 3 blocks wide. So I'm just trying to think, does it need to be more than 3 deep? And I don't think it does. The reason being, I can put the generator here, and then I can put a fuel here and a fuel on the end here. And you still have the effect of seeing the generator. And I can do that on each side. So as you come through, on each side there'll be a generator and and the fuel tanks, and 2 fuel tanks. So it probably only needs to be 3 deep, this one. Okay. So that means we've got to go 4 deep on it. Just being careful to make sure that I'm attaching it to the capital vessel and not to the scaffold. And this is one of the issues that basically when you saw, when I misplaced that block and it threw the, have I still got access to? Yep, I should still be able to get down there. We can always knock out a block or 2 if we need to be able to, but I should be able to get down there. Yep. So you saw there basically when it threw the whole capital vessel when I misplaced that block, the problem I was thinking of was more about while I'm building it, if it becomes unbalanced, if I had it on a small scaffold and it became unbalanced, I built too much at one end, then there is a chance that it may have toppled over and off the scaffold. So it's something that I'm just being quite wary of. And that's partly why this this build is going to take a little while to do, because, as I said, I'm doing it freehand. Oh, well, basically, yeah, I've got an idea in my head, but I'm doing it not from a plan or anything like that. I'm sort of just doing it as we go. So, all right. Oop, what are you doing there? Okay. So as I said, this is going to be the power room. And what I'll probably do is down below, the whole idea of it, of this build, is basically then there's going to be another room behind this one, which will be my crafting room. It'll contain, in fact, I might make it a little bit longer, and what it will contain is it will contain the food processor. I'll probably keep the fridge near my living quarters, in my living quarters. So it'll have the food processor, the large constructor, and eventually the advanced constructor in there. And because it's 5 wide, basically what I can do is I can place the warp drive and I forget the other thing that you need. They can be placed down. But then below there, the next deck down, what I'm going to have in there, and in fact I might put the warp drive down there along with the other things like RCS and things like that. The next deck down, I'm going to have quite a large room down there, which is going to be effectively the horticultural room, so my farming room, and I'm going to be growing various plants in that room, and also a storage room with a number of crates and things like that in it. So that's the overall plan. And as I said, this early part of it is probably the most important, because this, if I get this first part of it right, this dictates the rest of the build. Everything else comes off of this. So hopefully I've got it right and I've worked it out right, but only time will tell on that, I guess. So as I said, behind this room, that's going to be the power room. Behind this room is going to be the crafting room, effectively. Would be the easiest way to describe it. And what I want in there is the advanced constructor, or the large constructor initially, and the food processor. I could probably also use it to put a couple or some more fuel cells, and some more fuel tanks, and some more oxygen tanks, just to ensure that we've got plenty of oxygen and fuel on board. So this one's going to need to come out a bit, and just work out how deep am I going to need that. Just trying to remember how deep I reckon the advanced constructor is 2x2. So that would fit in one of these spaces. And then, so if we take that back 2, I reckon if we take this back another 2, then we can fit the advanced constructor, or the large constructor. And then on the same side we can put the food processor, and then on the other side that should give us 8 blocks here where we could put. We could put another 3. Could we put another 3? Yeah, we should be able to put another 3 fuel tanks. Reason you can't put 4 is the problem is you wouldn't be able to reach that back corner one. So I'm thinking if they're in an L shape like this, we should be able to put 3 fuel tanks and then 3 oxygen tanks. That's the thought, anyway. Time will tell. And, you know, having that many, that would give us 7 large fuel tanks and 7 oxygen tanks. Probably overkill, I'm guessing. But, you know, we will try it, and we will see what happens. Okay. So that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this back one, I'm not going to bother with windows on this one, because this is just this is a crafting room. And actually this is going to be the back of it as well, the back of the top section. So it doesn't need anything at the back there. We don't need any doors or anything like that. So effectively that's what we're looking at. So we've got crafting room, energy room, effectively. It's going to be my living quarters on this side, oxygen and medical on this side, control room. And I guess I can put, because it moved it, I guess I can put that block in now. There we go. So yeah. Alright. So I think what I might do, I might just head down. Now with this scaffold, what I did basically, I should have probably explained that initially, is basically, all I did was I made myself a base starter, but I haven't powered it. So I don't need this to be powered up at all. Basically, I just needed, because you can only build these blocks on, like, attached to your base or a ship or something like that. So that was that's the reason for that. So if we just get up the hill a bit. So that, hopefully you can see that, but that's going to be the top section. Now the bottom section is going to be slightly wider than that. Not sure whether it will be longer. Now this will be slightly longer because I haven't done anything at the front there, and I'm just umming and ahhing what I want to do with that front section of the build, but we'll get to that because time is moving on this video. So as I said, I'm expecting this to take multiple videos to build this. What I might quickly do is I might just jump in here, scroll out, and just go up and just have a bit of a look. Just have a bit of a scroll. Now you can see how much that block threw it off center when I misplaced that block. So certainly make sure you're careful doing that. So yeah, it's effectively going to be the inside of it. And as I said, on the outside, basically, there's going to be a layer of hull blocks, and then also I'd probably look at putting some armor plating on it in any areas that I can. So now those walls have to go up, obviously, another level. I might do that off camera, just build that one up. It's got to go up. That level only needs to be 2 blocks high, and it needs to be 2 blocks high to fit in the large fuel tanks and the constructor and things like that. So that needs to come up another 2 blocks on the walls, and then closed off at the top. So I might do that off camera. So that, because basically you can see that the basic floor plan there, and all I'm doing is just bringing it up and closing it off. So, you know, there's nothing special about that. And then we can proceed in the next video to look at developing the bottom layer. And once we've got that in place, basically the rest of it really just falls straight into place as far as you know, it's a matter of putting in all the same stuff you do with the small vessel, like the thrusters, directional thrusters, things like that. Try not to crash your small vessel into your base. That's better. It was slightly tilted, so it was pushing against the ground, I think. And hopefully, if you've seen my previous videos, hopefully I can get out of this thing and not fall through the world. Let's see. Yep, good this time. Now just check my survival constructor, because I did have it doing something over here, I think. Let's see. Yeah, I had it making a whole lot of metal plates. So that's okay. So it's always worthwhile if you can, and you know you're going to need something, and it's one of the real basic things, to use that survival constructor. It basically doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost you any energy or any. You don't have to use any fuel packs. Whereas everything you craft here in the large constructor and also the advanced constructor later on, basically is using power out of your power supplies. So utilize that. If you've placed that down right next to where you're building your first base, make use of it. Make use of it. It's free energy. So God knows we don't get much for free nowadays. So make use of it when you got the chance. I'm just going to eat a little bit, and then we're going to call the video here. A hard day's work on the scaffold celebrates with a little bit of salami, as you do. I don't know if we can see that from here. Oh, just not much. Alright guys, so I'm going to call the video here. As I said, I will do a little bit of work just on that top, just to fill out those walls and things off camera. And when we come back, we'll continue on developing the capital vessel. So I hope you've enjoyed what you've watched. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing everyone next time when we continue building that capital vessel and hopefully head up into the stars at some point. I'm Raid 0 AU, signing out.